for you here today. And are flat earthers outnumbered? I mean, I think that's pretty common knowledge. I think the fact that we are taught the heliocentric model from birth pretty much means that people converting to the flat earth model or believing that we do not live on a spinning pear through infinite outer space is going to be few and far between. Now, like I said in my last video, that there are flat earthers out there who don't want to say anything, don't want to be criticized, don't want to be made fun of, don't want their family and friends to laugh at them, call them all kinds of names, the same names that I get called on a daily basis. So they're closet flat earthers. They don't say anything. They're quiet about it. And then there are the flat earthers like me who are going to tell everyone I know and try to wake up everyone to the deception of the heliocentric model. And yes, they're going to get made fun of. We're going to get called names. We're going to get called stupid, read a book, go to school, take a science class, blah, 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 blah. Does that affect me? No, never will. Is it going to stop me? No, never will, because I know that cognitive dissonance when it comes to the heliocentric model is very, very tough to get past, because like I said, you're taught that from birth. So when it comes to learning or unlearning about the heliocentric model, that's something that's not easy to do. So yes, we are outnumbered. I would say at least 1,000 to 1. Flat earthers versus people believing the heliocentric model. Even people who are not hardcore and gonna go do research and gonna go comment on videos like this and gonna go watch videos like this. Just your average everyday goer walks around and believe in the heliocentric model. So yes, flat earthers versus heliocentric enthusiasts are gonna be 1,000 to 1. But like I said, it's not something that's gonna stop me. I don't do this to, like I said, for the plaudits, I don't do this for any awards or any money or anything like that. I do this talk, like I said before, to wake up one person, at least wake up that one individual to the heliocentric deception. And that is why I do this. Now, is it something that is discouraging? No. I mean, we're gonna get there. Us flat earthers will get there and we'll make it happen. And like I said, it may not be in my lifetime, but sooner rather than later, I believe that the heliocentric model will be laughed at, like how flat earth is laughed at. It will be taught as one of those things that, like, really people actually believe we lived on a spinning pear through infinite outer space. I believe that's something that's gonna happen one day. And so I keep my grind. It's a grind, yes, it is, trying to wake people up, trying to talk to people. I don't just do this, by the way. I talk to people when I run into people, when I'm at restaurants, when I'm out and about. I talk to people about it. So it's something that's a grind. It's tough to wake people up. They give you that look, they give you that, what? Look, they give you that, really?
So his calculation is, hey, at least 1,000 to 1. That's absolutely absurd, because the surveys that came out in the U.S. said that it's 2% of the population that believe that the Earth is flat, and there's a larger percentage that are on the fence, and in the UK it's 4% of the population. So he says 1,000 to 1. It's more like 100,000 to 1. And even on YouTube, I think the largest channels are only like 200,000 subscribers, and that's worldwide, or at least for the English-speaking countries. And yeah, he just loves talking to people. He's brainwashed his poor kid. Dinosaurs don't exist, the Earth is flat, and yeah, just kind of really not necessarily ruining this kid's life, but definitely put a roadblock in her pursuit in any kind of scientific field at the age of 8 or 9, and that's when you really start to look at the world and question. Yeah, it's 2%, something like that, flat out. All right, yeah, it's just funny, because like I said, he's actually articulate and he gets his point across. He just doesn't have anything to say worth listening to. Let's see what else we have here. This is flat Earth fact versus theory. We're gonna see this. Oh no, it's an Eric Dubay video, or at least his voice is in here. So let's see what this is.
Unscientific worldview. But the facts of the matter are far from what you've been told. It is a fact, not a theory, that bodies of water always seek and find their own level. From a pond, lake, or an ocean, the natural physics of water is to find and remain level. It is a fact that the majority of Earth is covered in such level water, thus making it an unscientific theory to postulate that Earth is actually a gigantic sphere with bendy oceans curving all the way around it. It is an unproven, unscientific theory with no observable, measurable, or repeatable evidence to claim that bodies of water can somehow bend, cling to the exterior of shapes, and show convexity upon their surface. It is a fact, not a theory, that we are able to observe objects at incredibly long distances, far beyond what would be possible if Earth were a globe 25,000 miles in circumference, as we're told. For example, it is a fact that in Genoa, Italy, from just above sea level, it is possible to see the distant islands of Elba, Caprea, and Corsica 80 to 125 miles away. It is a necessary theory that the globe Earth must curve 8 inches per mile squared if it really be a ball 25,000 miles in circumference, as we're told. But based on such a theory, these islands would all be completely hidden behind thousands of feet of curved Earth. It is a fact, not a theory, that the horizon always appears perfectly flat, 360 degrees around the observer, regardless of altitude. All amateur balloon, rocket, plane, and drone footage show a completely flat horizon as high as we can reach, over 20 miles or 120,000 feet up. It is an observable, testable, repeatable, scientific fact of reality that Polaris, the North Pole star, situated perfectly over the North Pole center of Earth, never moves a single inch, night after night.
Same arguments. I thought it'd be actually something interesting, but it's the same stuff. It's actually a really nice video there. It's really done well. Yeah, it's a fact you could see far, you know, over the ocean and all that. But that doesn't mean it's flat. It means it's ridiculous. Oh. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, this is three flat Earth facts in 10 seconds.
And the face of the moon never changes, and the Polaris star is always in the same spot.
I didn't know that was going to be a freaking 7-year-old kid reciting flat Earth facts there. That was just sad. Yeah, it's more like 3 flat Earth facts parroted. And okay, this video is star replicated, and he's basically comparing shining the sun through a 5-gallon water bucket, it looks like, and it's creating the same effect as telescopes see these stars through the Earth's atmosphere. That's basically what he's creating. He's recreating the turbulence of the Earth's atmosphere. It's, you know, but they love to. I think it's really funny how they really think that there's this infinite ocean above the firmament, you know. So I guess God and whatnot is up there underwater. I mean, where do these waters start and or stop, and where does this so-called heaven start? And this whole effect here, we have telescopes on Earth that they use adaptive optics to fix this, to straighten up the image. And what adaptive optics is they shoot a laser parallel to where the telescope is viewing, and they have these giant mirrors, on Earth, the telescope mirrors, and the mirrors are actually flexible, and they have like thousands of little micro servos, little motors that adjust and warp the mirror so it could counteract these artifacts that you see, and it straightens up the image. So, because the argument is like when they take their little P900 or flat out takes this P9 million and views and photographs stars, they look like they're underwater, and they're not using the same technology that scientists are using on Earth to make the same images. And this is where they get this the CGI, these stars, they're like, hey, the stars don't look like this when I take out my P900, or now it's the P1000. See, it's just because you see something doesn't mean that's reality. I like the analogy of magic tricks, and you watch a magician on stage, and he pulls things out of thin air, makes things disappear, and that's not reality. Just because you see it doesn't mean that's the truth. Okay, here's Simon Dan. Here's a challenge for Simon Dan. And if Flat Out is still here, this is a Flat Out hero. So this is this guy's name. So it's pretty interesting.
A video for Simon Dan. We've got a pomegranate here. What's this? Starting point A. Travel in a straight line to second point B. Make your first right angle turn, 90-degree turn. Boom. Travel down to C. Now you make your second 90-degree angle turn. Okay. How many turns did it take to return to your starting point? 1, 2. 2 turns. Oh. But wait a minute. How many turns does it take in reality to return to the same place? Let's try that. Let's see here. If the Earth was flat and I were to go in a straight line right here. Let's see. Okay. So we got a straight line right here. This straight line. And I make my first 90-degree turn. That's going to be corner B, corresponding to there. Here's A. Alright, we got A. Now our first turn. Okay. Now we're going to go. It's the same distance. Alright, we've made our final turn. And we'll just end up. Wait a minute. Duh. You see, in my
Librastar doesn't seem to understand that the lower atmosphere doesn't have a problem keeping up with the Earth as it's spinning. So what's the problem with that? Why don't you think that the lower atmosphere can keep up with the surface of the Earth as it spins? It's not the entire atmosphere. It's just the lower, probably. I would say around 5 miles, and it's just the densest part of the atmosphere. I mean, the Earth's atmosphere is 300 miles high, and 80% of that atmosphere is in the first 10 miles. Because the he says, if the Earth is spinning, why is there still smog in China? Because the smog is actually on, not on the surface, but it's close to the surface. Or no, it is on the surface. Because you see the smog in China, they're walking through like it's like a fog. And smog is actually dense. It has it's a lot heavier than air. And when you get into the higher layers of the atmosphere, it's extremely turbulent, and it's not the same. I mean, the upper atmosphere, like more where planes are flying and such, and higher on the mountaintops, that that part of the atmosphere, it's connected to the Earth by gravity, but it is not, that part of the atmosphere is not moving with the Earth. Not in the same respect as the lower atmosphere towards, ground level. Okay, this is biblical Earth. Did gravity? Let's see. I don't know what he said. Did gravity just leave the building? Okay, so this guy is gonna, looks like he's gonna disprove gravity with some water, some eggs, and some salt. So let's see what he does here.
Welcome to Flat Earth, Biblical Earth. Where did gravity go? Today I'm going to do an experiment. 2 jugs of water, chopstick, 2 eggs, iodized salt, sea salt. And we're going to find out, where does imaginary gravity go? So, we're going to take the egg, simple egg, put it in the water, and watch it go. Ooh, gravity. Let's see. Gravity. Ooh, that mysterious force. Now we'll add the salt. Sea salt. I probably used way too much salt. So let's make this happen.
Really disprove.
Good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris from New York. It's May 13th, 2018, and I want to share a few things with you, if you don't mind. Some personal thoughts that I've had of my own. I'm going to direct this toward my little globe-tard friends. Yeah. I have a couple of questions for you. These people love to leave comments on my channel, and I appreciate you guys for answering these. I don't want to. I mean, whatever. I'm just saying you're dealing with total chaos here, madness. I mean, there's no negotiating with madness. I'm sorry, there really is no negotiating with madness. But I do appreciate it, and don't waste your time. You're wasting your time. So to my little globe-tard friends, I ask you one question. When you see the day moon, okay, that would be the moon that comes out during the day, and it's a crescent moon, and of course you can see right through it. So if this thing was 250,000 miles away, and it takes 3 days, am I right? Is that how long it took Apollo 12 or 11, Apollo 11 to get there? 3 days to get there? Traveling at a certain amount of speed, and do the calculations, that's how far away it is, and then you can figure out the entire size of the universe by doing these calculations. Why, if I'm looking at a moon that's in space, why isn't there a black backdrop? Because every photograph and every video that I've ever seen from space it's got a black backdrop on it. So when I look at the sky and I look at the moon and I'm looking through the moon.
Ah, geez, yeah, once again, nothing new. I mean, come on, man. They don't understand this atmosphere, right? You know what? That'll probably be one of my next broadcasts, is the atmosphere, because I don't think anyone's really tackled that. And if you have ever studied meteorology, it's pretty complicated. But yeah, it's like, well, the reason you don't see it is because the freaking moon isn't in the atmosphere, and it's a freaking sphere. Oh. Let me see. Maybe I should have watched these videos before I did these. Okay. Okay, this is a Buzz Aldrin one. I don't know. We'll see what this guy has to say. Probably nothing exciting. Or nothing new, rather.
This is Jerry Diamond, How to Get Out of Babylon. I've kind of been enjoying, I've really been enjoying some of the research I've been doing. Like I said, I'm glad I'm glad Flat Earth didn't come out before I got divorced, because I probably would be dead, if they didn't release it to the general public, But whatever comes of all of it, it's a fascinating subject. I mean, I have a very solid background in mathematics and science, and I've never in my life run across anything so complicated and yet so simple. So anyway, this channel here, ODD Reality, he's a awesome young man, and he's like Dave Murphy, allegedly. Dave, in the sense that he's one of those people that absolutely, positively, without question, believes that the Bible is true when it describes the dome, the firmament, and earth. That the Hebrew cosmology presented in the Bible, and Bible scholars admit, the Bible teaches flat earth.
actually be good. He says he has a solid background in math and science. What could that possibly mean? But he mentions the Hebrew mythology of the Earth. That he says it's flat. Hold on, let me turn down my mic. When I first let's see here. Hello. Okay. When I first started looking into this flat Earth, and of course the one go-to argument was always like, well, the Bible says the Earth is flat. So I looked into this, not from the scripture aspect, but from the time when the Bible is written. From was it like 500 BC to 500 AD or ACE, and I began to look at other ancient views on the Earth, or worldviews on the shape of the Earth and the universe and whatnot, or ancient cosmology, I guess you could say. And from what I found out was the Bible was, as far as their cosmology, it was just ripped off of the Egyptians. The Egyptians believed that the Earth was actually square, like literally a square, and on pillars, and it was surrounded by mountains, and it had, as the Egyptians kind of explained it, as like it was like a tent, not a dome, but a I forgot how they really mentioned it, but it was like a roof over the Earth. And if you look at the explanations of the firmament, that is what it's describing. It's this stretched out like heavens over the Earth. And so the Hebrews, or the ancient or the original writers of the Bible, at least when it came to the Old Testament, they just stole it from the Egyptians. They just, because I guess the Egyptians at that point in time were the mystical ancient culture at the time. So if anyone would know, how the universe worked, the Egyptians would. And the Hebrews and that whole part of the world, they were in definite contact with the Egyptians. I mean, they traded and traveled there, and they were well aware of this. So they just lifted that from the Egyptians. That's all they did. So Mr. Santa Claus here, with a solid background in math and science, he's using the Bible as proof. I mean, this might be interesting. So let's see what he has to say. And he is, I believe his name is How to Get Out of Babylon or something. So I don't see too many videos from him. But it was kind of funny how he's like, well, I'm glad I'm divorced because my wife would have left me because of this flat earth nonsense.
Ken Ham and Kent Hovind are completely dishonest with the facts. Logos Bible Software presents the fact that the Bible teaches a flat earth. They don't believe it. The people who wrote the software do not believe that the Bible is correct in the fact that the earth is flat. We've now discovered science. They're basically like Kent Hovind and Ken Ham in the sense that they believe in science. However, they're at least honest enough to say the Bible absolutely, without question, teaches a firmament, a dome, and a flat earth. So ODD Reality is one of those kids. Not a believer. I wouldn't classify him. I don't think he would classify himself as a believer, a Christian in any sense of the word. Allegedly, Dave, I don't think is that. Dave was an atheist for 40 years, and when he started studying flat earth, started to debunk it, and he's like, wow, this is what the Bible teaches. There must be a God in the heavens. Now, these people believe that God exists and that he's a creator God, et cetera, but they're not believers in, as most of us would consider them. All right, anyway, this is just a quick little video, 2 minutes, but Buzz Aldrin, this is pretty cool.
Do you want to know? Question. To know anything or most
Stuff I've been doing. talking about flat Earth. It's a big no-no. So one guy actually sent me a video saying, we went to the moon. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? It's mind-boggling to me that anybody could believe that still. And I'll just show you real quick here the title is A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. I'm on the wrong channel.
He's going with this. And so he showed the Buzz Aldrin film that I'm sure everyone and their mother has seen by now. That's once again completely taken out of context. If you want, on my channel, I have there's 3 interviews that Buzz conducted that day, and I don't think I've actually spoke about this, but there was 3 videos that he conducted that day, and I want to say it was maybe 5 years ago, and it was at the National Book Convention in Washington, D.C., and Buzz was there, and Buzz is past 80 years old. I mean, he's an old guy, and he rambles and misspeaks and stuff like that. And people were saying, oh, he was drunk and he slipped up, or this is basically his deathbed confession, and it's just nonsense. The guy just wrote a book, a children's book, trying to inspire them to be the next astronauts going to Mars and whatnot. And he says some kind of ridiculous things just because he just misspoke, and so Mr. Santa Claus here is gonna, let's see, bring up, the funny thing happened on the way to the moon. If you guys haven't seen that, it's just a terrible documentary, really poorly made. It's basically just lies and manipulation of evidence and whatnot, but it's nonsense. And he also Santa Claus here brings up atheists that get into flat Earth and then they become Christians because they've seen their so-called flat Earth evidence, and now they're Christians because, hey, the Bible's right and there's a God. I would actually really like to talk to some of these atheists turned Christians because of flat Earth. I mean, I don't know. I think that's a hoax. I just don't see it. I don't see how anyone can be, because part of atheism is applying critical thinking skills, and logic, and there's no evidence of God, so why should we believe it? So there's no evidence of flat Earth, so why should you believe it? But for some reason, they get mesmerized by these charlatans on YouTube. Let me see if he has anything else. Oh, that looks kind of interesting. Let's see this.
He jumps from the ground up onto this about elevated platform that is about, I don't know, 4 feet, 5 feet off the ground. And then from there, he's standing on that elevated platform and jumps up about 20 or 30 feet up there. Well, 15 or 20 feet. You can watch the video. Pressurized internal area airlock. You have never seen, and you will never see, an astronaut going into an airlock and decompressing. You see it in Hollywood. Hollywood could manage it. I don't understand that. Why? You see it in Aliens with Sigourney Weaver. You see it in Arnold Schwarzenegger, various movies. Hollywood can fake it, and they do a good job of it. NASA has never bothered to try to fake going into an airlock.
NASA has never shown going into airlock. No, that's funny because I've seen videos of it. Yes, they test spacesuits. Uh-oh. Okay, this is proof the moon is not.
Okay, I'm going to start off this video by explaining something to my subscribers. We are on the verge of about 50,000 subscribers. I've been on YouTube for 6 years, almost 7 actually. And you can go back and see where I started. You're looking at it right now. I used to post videos of the work that I did in hopes of gaining more customers, so forth and so on, and it worked pretty well. And then, every once in a while, I'd go outside to smoke a cigarette and I would look up and I would see this. Now, it really, really didn't dawn on me necessarily what I was seeing, but I've always been into space since I was 9 years old, which is 40 years, you know what I'm saying? And I started looking into it a little bit and I started posting videos probably about 3-4 years ago about chemtrails. I would tell my family about it, I would point to them, and they would just laugh and go, "Oh, come on, that's nothing." Well, as you can see, this is clearly nothing. This started about 30 minutes ago, and this is the result. It's big, thick, and long-lasting. These things don't go anywhere. This is not condensation coming out of a Pratt & Whitney or a Rolls-Royce engine. None whatsoever. And if you look up NASA's information, the Appleman chart is what it's called. It explains to you the heights and conditions required for a plane to even leave a condensation trail behind it. And we're seeing this every single solitary day. So the Appleman chart is basically out the window. For those that don't know, they're spraying us. They're spraying us like bugs. Plenty of people have tested it until the lab stopped testing, but it's barium, strontium, and aluminum. Worst case scenario, there's other things in there that we just don't know anything about. But that's not what this video is about. Several channels have decided to start attacking me for whatever reason, and it happens. It's happened to me last year. It happened to me the year before. It happens, and I usually just ignore them. And for those that don't understand why I ignore them, let me ask you this. If you're on a bus or a train or in a supermarket and a mentally challenged person starts screaming at you, are you going to start arguing with them in front of everybody? Of course you wouldn't, because that would make you look insane. It just doesn't make any sense. You can't argue with them and win, correct? So there's that. Now on to this. See,
A good point. Let me make sure my volume's right. I think I was cutting out a second. Yeah, his video is really choppy, so that's not my end. That's his. But he brings up a good point with arguing or debating. You're not gonna win a debate with a flat earther. To think you are is it's futile. But what is important is that you do leave comments under these videos, but be intelligent. Don't use profanity or name calling. Just present your points and make sure they're good, because when you present an argument, you have to take a second and you have to be able to try to not be able, but you have to take a second and attempt to debunk your own argument and to see, like, hey, will this work on a flat Earth? Like Blue Marble or Young Blue Skeptic brought up that plate tectonics would work on a flat Earth, or couldn't work on a flat Earth. But I disagree. I think they would. I think it's possible, you can somehow get it to work or whatever, or create a model that plate tectonics would work on a flat Earth. So that would be an argument that you don't bring up. And I don't like bringing up photography, because photography can be faked. The specifications of the photograph, like where it was taking, the distance and all that, you can lie about it and whatnot. And the big thing with like photography, which it looks like he's gonna show here, is that if you don't understand atmospheric refraction and how it works, how you can explain it, then I really don't think you should be bringing it up, because it's a valid point. Atmospheric refraction is a very real thing, and it's very complicated. If you actually look at the formulas to figure out atmospheric refraction, there's several different formulas, and it's not a simple formula either. There's a lot of variables, about a dozen different variables involved in that. So he's gonna let's see, he's probably gonna show the moon, and he's gonna say, let's see, that he shouldn't be able to see craters because the moon, is like 250,000 miles away, which, it's pretty ridiculous, because you really can't make out individual craters. I mean, there are some craters that you can see, but a lot of it you can't. I mean, like, let me see, hold on. Yeah, you have to trust direct measurements, but not the measurements aren't always direct, though. They're not, especially when you're dealing with through the atmosphere and whatnot. So let's see. Let's get him to these. How long is this? Okay, this is only about 5 minutes more. So let's see what Richie from Boston has to say about the moon not being 250,000 miles away.
Now, I'm clearly, in the daytime, I'm zooming in on the moon. Let's watch this again. In the daylight, I'm zooming right in on the moon, no problem, with a Nikon P900. And I can zoom even further than that, and I believe I will. There it is. You can literally see what looks to be stars shining right through it.
Shining through it? Is this? Oh my goodness! Where's a star? Where is a freaking star shining through it? Oh my God! Are you freaking serious? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, this might be good. All right, let's see here.
This is going to be a little comparison. Right over here is the Boston skyline. See it? And right there is the Prudential building, which if you Google it, from my house to the Prudential, it's 4.7 miles away as the crow flies. Not too far, right? I could probably fly the drone over there, but I might lose it, so I don't. At any rate, plus there's an airport right here. Yeah, I grew up next to the airport watching Logan dump all day long. This never happened in my first 30 years of life. It's all pretty new. At any rate, let's watch me zoom in on the Prudential building, shall we? This is going to be a test to prove that the moon is nowhere near 234,000 miles away. Watch. I got the tripod up. I've got the Prudential right in my sights. And here I go. I'm zooming in. That's the Prudential building. See it? Let me adjust the tripod for a second, because as you zoom, it goes up. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Prudential building. You can almost read it because it says Prudential right there. And there you go. My camera is totally maxed out. I apologize for the shakiness, but when you're zoomed out 2,000 millimeters, the camera gets shaky. That is as far as I can zoom out with a Nikon P900 to an object that I know the distance, 4.7 miles away as the crow flies. Now let's watch me zoom in on the moon. That's 200 plus thousand miles away, and I'm trying to videotape the moon through an incredibly heavy atmosphere that they're spraying right in front of my eyes. We've already seen that, right? Okay, now I just turned the camera up. Nothing more. I'm still standing on the same balcony. It's still the same incredibly chemtrail day. There's the moon right there, 200 plus thousand miles away. Let's zoom in. Here we go. And as I'm doing it, there's another plane right there, aerosol spraying, but that's not today's subject, really. Okay, here it comes. Here it comes. All right, I must be maxed out, right? Nope, not at all. Here we go. Here we go through it. Now remember, they are spraying like it's their job and they're supposed to be doing it. Look how far I can zoom in on the moon. I can see those lights right there in that crater. I can see all these speckles right here on it. I mean, are you kidding me? And as far as I can zoom in on the Prudential building is so I can almost read the letters. Yeah, 4.7 miles away. And I might even Google Earth it and try to prove it. Hold on. Okay, this isn't my exact address, but it's right near my house. And if you've watched my videos, you can tell. If you go straight across the water right here, there's Boston. And I've already flown my drone over there, and it's less than 2 miles. Let me see if I can find the Prudential again. Bear with me. Now, if anybody knows how I figure out the literally it with the naked eye, I think I'm going the right way. Richie from Boston, everything they tell us is a lie. I can zoom in more on the moon than I can on a building that I can see with my naked eye. That's crazy. They're lying to us. Do not believe NASA because they're lying about our entire origin. I put up that video about Trey Smith earlier, and people like, oh my God, he charges money. Well, guess what? He lives on this planet too. And when you spend all your time researching for people that just leave comments and don't actually make videos of any consequence, believe it or not, we're the only species that has to pay to live here. So if he wants to charge a little bit of money for his videos and I want to buy them and give them away, you shouldn't even be commenting because you're not adding, you're not helping. There's no, you see what I'm saying? You're just causing more chaos.
Okay, sorry about a little technical problem. Okay, these so-called stars that he's seeing, this is the sunlight hitting the craters, the side of the craters, and like right here in the middle, this is where the impact from a meteorite slammed into the surface of the moon, and the shock wave went through the moon and back, and then it creates like these little tiny mountains in the center of the craters. Now the ones where you see like the little dot right in the center of the crater, that's what that is. And these are all just the sides of the craters, the sunlight hitting the sides of the craters. I mean, come on. And actually look up, I don't even know why we're talking about this crap. This is obvious. But these are the stars that he sees. And look up to see the diameter of these craters. And, you know, they're 100 miles wide or whatever. And he says he could zoom in better on the moon than he can his skyline. Yeah, the moon is freaking huge. It's a massive. It's like the quarter the size of the Earth. All right, well, that was moderately entertaining. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, this is a Nirubu makes a glitch in the matrix. This is probably ODD. He likes making these. Or oh, this is Boogeyman. He's a lunatic too.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Andrew, and I got some strangeness for you today. I got floating lenses in the skies, prisms, sun simulators, and I have got a rift in the matrix. Oh, buddy, and I can't wait for you to see it. Right now, we're taking a look at a few lenses that I caught in the sky on HD. Shooting in 6K. I was using a Nikon, oh man, I can't even remember, a D90 or something like that. Real nice camera. It's my sister-in-law's. She was nice enough to lend it to me while I was cameraless and hanging out at the house. Kind of bored. Just happened to take a few pictures of the sky and just ended up striking gold. Wow. Some of these lenses in the sky have never been so goddamn clear, honestly. I was starting to think that they weren't here in California, that they were only in, I don't know, every other place in the United States, Texas, Florida, and the such. And of course, these guys were trying to chemtrail it to hide it, but you can't hide a 10-mile wide lens in the sky. It's impossible. I'm sorry. But I have figured out how to outsmart the lens and the cloaking devices, and I'm getting awesome pictures of Nibiru and Nemesis every time now, and those are to follow. But I wanted to point this out. Look at these shadows on the clouds, on the blue of the clouds. This leads into what's coming next, and what's coming next is mind-blowing. And drum roll, please. Well, first let's cover this diamond-shaped sun, and then this square-shaped sun right afterwards. Have you ever seen anything like this? A square sun, shadows on the blue of the sky, and you know what else? A glitch in the matrix. There it is. You guys, take a really long, clear look at what's behind these clouds. Look at what this is. I was shooting on RAW, and when I added an infrared filter to these.
Let's see, seems I'm having problems with my mic. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. This is pretty self-explanatory. I looked at this for a second. I'm like, what is this? And what this is it looks like a polarizing lens over the camera. And what the polarizing lens, I'm not too familiar with optics, but what a polarizing lens is, it only lets light in that's coming directly into your eyes, like straight into your eye. So it blocks reflected light. Or reflected light off of coming at different angles. So when you're looking straight in the middle here, you can see these squares. They're perfect squares because that's letting light in only, directly into your eye, like straight into your eye. What would that be at a 90-degree angle? And that's why it gets more distorted around the edge of the lens, because this is actually would be blocking light coming in from these directions. And oh, this is funny. So it's funny how these guys spend all this money on cameras. I mean, the P900, it's not a cheap piece of equipment. They don't understand what the heck they have. I mean, well, the P900 is a consumer product or a prosumer product, which only means it's a dumb camera for people who have money to burn. It's not a professional camera. It's not, on ISS, they use a Nikon, a D4. They're not using a P900 or a P1000. So that's all that this is. And if you have ever had a pair of quality sunglasses, that block the polarizing light, I mean, you could look sometimes directly at the sun with these sunglasses on. But okay, so you guys have anything else to add about this? Okay. All right, so let's see what he has to say. But he's probably going to say that this is the firmament, and but that's totally what it is. It's a polarizing lens. So, all right, let's see what this glitch is.
Just fell away. It's like nothing I've ever seen before, and all that it showed behind was I don't know, the sacred geometry of the Earth, I guess. What it looks to me is like a hologram type system, maybe metal in nature. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what it's made out of. I'm not sure who put it up there or when it went up there. But all I know is I really want you guys to pause this and take a look at what I'm showing you here. These are geometric patterns and shapes. And they take up the entire sky. And just to be clear, those clouds and those shadows are on top of the geometric patterns. And if you took a look at that first patch I showed you, it was a picture of a spider with its web. And I think it has a lot to do with this secret mission, because obviously they were not announcing the geometric patterns around the Earth for sure. But I have a feeling it has something to do with this Goodyear blimp. I haven't seen the Goodyear blimp in over 20 years, and I noticed it's got a lot of new hardware on it. And every time it flies by, I'm seeing all sorts of weird patterns and shapes and cloud patterns in the sky. I don't know if it's part of the obfuscating system, but I don't know. I'd love to hear your feedback on it. And then, of course, I had to include some fake stars and planets. I mean, what would a fake sky be without them? So far, we've covered clouds that cast shadows. We've geometric patterns in the sky, sun simulators, holes in the dome, lasers coming through huge lenses which float in the sky. I mean, does it get any more fake than this? Is there anything in the sky that's real anymore? I mean, honestly, it's really kind of scary. It's not kind of scary, it's absolutely scary. And to know that all of this is over the Nibiru system, and let's say grand solar minimum as well, but I think one caused the other, honestly. Yes, there is celestial bodies in our heavens. You can see the Nibiru system, Nemesis star, all of them, anytime you want. You just have to know where to look. And the government is obviously doing everything they can to hide it, like even simulating the fucking sky. If you haven't seen something like this before, then you know what's coming. And it's these guys right here. This is the last step in Werner von Braun's announcement to his personal assistant on his deathbed. They will be faking the alien invasion, okay? And I will be there to see it. That's just what I want to show you.
Pretty funny. Okay, he's just like, hey man, Narubu's coming, and they're gonna look like this, man. The thing about aliens is it's really humorous to think that they're actually gonna be humanoid. I mean, there's argument that humans they kind of evolved like an optimal way, in a very efficient way, with like 2 legs and 2 arms and whatnot. But what this is right here is a lack of imagination. The whole humanoid alien thing. Hey man, this is a Nerubian. I think a more accurate depiction of what aliens would look like is more the H.R. Giger alien from like the movie Aliens, like an insect, you know. I mean, look at the variation of life on planet Earth. I mean, they could look like anything, and yeah, the happy pig demon is definitely afoot in this guy's video. Oh geez, what is this like? This looks like one of the videos or one of the drawings from like an artist's interpretation of like someone who claimed that they've been abducted by aliens, and they described it to an artist, and this is what he depicted, you know, from the description of the abductee. Oh geez. So Narubu's coming, guys. The 24/7 Narubu channel. We'll have to go check that out someday. I don't know. I try not to waste too much time with this nonsense, but it's entertaining, or it can be entertaining. All right, we just got a couple more minutes here, and if I don't think there's really anyone here, but if you guys want to share a video or something, if Jared, if you have a video that you want to throw up, or if Bullwinkle, if you want to share another one of your videos, just as long as you don't have a 2-minute long 1 kilohertz tone of it. Oh boy, you really need to redo that video that you played the other night. I mean, it was really funny. I think you should take that. And the other thing I noticed is like you had your credits in the beginning in color, but the movie in black and white. And they didn't, back when that movie came out, or that type of video, they didn't have scrolling text. It was just screens of text that would fade in, fade out. And I don't know. I think if you took another stab at that video and re-uploaded it, I don't know. I thought it was really funny. That, you know, it just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. So let's see. So we're gonna go ahead and Jared, you seem like a nice guy. It looks like Bullwinkle seems to know. So we'll give him a wrench. Just Jared, just, you know, don't do any name calling. Don't use any profanity or anything like that, and just set a good example for everybody. But you get a wrench. So if you want to go ahead and post a link for a video that you made or something you showed, you know, we'll do that. So, and same thing with Bullwinkle. Bullwinkle, watch your freaking mouth. That's a warning, Mr. Bullwinkle.
Is what I wanted to show you guys. There's my little mini observatory, and I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be sky watching in your favor, okay? If I find it, I'll be reporting on it, okay? But just know that if they ever try to fake some sort of alien invasion, okay, just know that Werner von Braun called this back in the 70s, that this is the final step in the Illuminati's plan to make a one world government / dictatorship, cashless society, and it's the power that B's welcoming committee as they roll out the red carpet to Droneville. No more sovereign cities, states, or countries. No more individuality. No more cash. And no more say-so. The UN will be taking over as your Senate, your Parliament, and your government. And we will be a one world, one government world. And guys, I'm telling you, it's only a step away from RFID chips in your wrists, and God, who knows? Transhumanism. We'll be replacing different body parts with robot parts. Who knows? It's a Luciferian type world, man. I'm telling you. And Lucifer and his army are taking over, guys. All I'm saying is get good with God, get good with yourself, and always be good to others, all right? Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, this whole one world government thing, you really think that's going to happen? You really think that's going to happen? That is never going to happen. Never. It's the analogy I always make is they actually think like a one world religion would be possible. No way in hell. There's no way in hell. One world government, one world religion, no way. No way. Maybe 3 or 4. I mean, I could see like maybe if there was a nuclear war or a something that destroys like 9/10 of the population on Earth, they might be able to get that, but it'll still eventually fraction off into like splinter cells and whatnot and different sects. The people don't get along that well, especially with all the different ethnicities and whatnot. Never gonna happen. All right, so no videos, because I don't think anyone. Okay, well that's all. I don't think I have anything else.